find ourselves sitting already on chairs. Some of us are geared up already, thinking about tomorrow, so to speak, a better tomorrow. And in truth, from the most difficult pieces to understand in the kinos, when we discuss Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Akiva whose skin was raked, the Masreikos Shel Barzel, he was calm, composed, and he said, my lifetime I've been waiting for this event. Scary thoughts. The Malachim hear this, and they turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and they say, Zu Torah, Zu Schoira. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu responds, again with a shocking return. Be quiet, or else the world will go back to the Soh V'Voh. Kadosh Baruch Hu's answer sounds like he's pulling rank. I will not answer your questions. If you bother me, we'll put you in your place. What kind of answer is that answer HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave? How do we understand the Midas Hadin of Rabbi Akiva? To find meaning in great atrocities. Let's not forget who Rabbi Akiva was, a person who started off at age 40 as a diligent cheder yingel. 24 years removed from his family. $24,000 Talmidim destroyed. Rebuilt Torah single-handedly. And this is his end. Zu Torah, Zu Schoira, those words ring as a question in our ears. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, that's the way it's got to be. And the question's asked, and the world will revert back to nothingness. How do we walk away from such a piece? There are few things we know about Rabbi Akiva that make us indeed wonder. Rabbi Akiva was the person who came by the place of the Beis Hamikdash. Everybody is mourning that which they see, and Rabbi Akiva is laughing. And the Gemara goes on to tell us how Rabbi Akiva explained, if this nevuah is true, then that nevuah is true, and if the decimation of the Beis Hamikdash is a reality as it says in the Navi, so too will the rebuilding be true. And his friends say, Nichamtoni, you were Menachem us. What did Rabbi Akiva know that the others didn't know? They also knew that there was a nevuah. They also knew that HaKadosh Baruch Hu eventually will take Klal Yisrael out of its sour state and reinstitute us into the Beis Hamikdash. I don't see anybody here that is nisnachem just by the fact that we know Mirz Hashem there should be a Beis Hamikdash from Hera V'Yameinu. Read another Gemara of Rabbi Akiva, and we wonder. I heard once from a colleague of mine an interesting question. Yitzchak Avinu the midah of din. Everything exact, everything that it should be. And his name is Yitzchak because of Tzchok. Rabbi Akiva, midas hadin, and there's Tzchok. Rabbi Akiva, Yitzchak. What does these two things have to do with Golus, tragedy, being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel? The Zohar HaKadosh tells us about Yaakov Avinu, Vayifka b'mokom vayolem shom kibo Shemesh. It became dark for Yaakov Avinu, and the Zohar tells us only for Yaakov did it become dark, but for the rest of the world it remained light. He was living in a bubble of night in a world of daylight. Kadosh Baruch Hu made it night for him in order that he should be mispalel tilas arvis exactly at that point, the makom of the Beis Hamikdash, which most of the time throughout our history is shrouded in darkness, arvuvia, a mixture. Arvis, the evening time. The root of the word comes from the word mixture. All of us feel at night mixtures of emotions swirl around in our minds, and the night is frightening. One of the Mefarshim of our days explains what is the fright of night. Person is awake, he looks around. There are all kinds of opportunities, possibilities, different kinds of utensils that could help him to achieve what he wants to achieve. Somebody was told in this room, you must touch the ceiling in 5 minutes. It wouldn't take him long to calculate. I could put 2 tables, one on top of the other, next to another table, a chair on top of it, and I'd be able to touch the roof. Close your eyes. Imagine it's pitch dark. You have no idea where you are. If you take one small step, you could fall off into the abyss. You have nothing to hold on to, nothing to help you, and you're told, take a step forward. How many of us would try such folly? You don't have to guess. You can look in the Torah. The Mitzrayim found themselves in such a position, and they utterly did not move for 7 days. Who knows what could happen, Chalila, if one would move, bang his head, trip and fall, cut his hand. Who knows what's around you? Ve'emunascha ba'leilos. We have emunah at night. There's a famous joke. I've said it once here before. But I think on Tisha B'Av, the point is driven home in a little different direction. Man falls off a cliff and he's holding on to a small branch, dangling. And he looks up and he screams, "Somebody help me, send me down a rope so I should be able to climb up." And he looks down 100 feet and he sees there's somebody there that says, "Jump, I'll catch you." Would we do that? And the person from down there tells you, "You know, I used to work in the Olympics. I'm a special catcher." He's not going to jump. You don't believe him. What does it mean you don't believe him? When your life depends on it. All of those medallions, all of those lessons are not enough to trust your life to that person when the stakes are so high. V'chol beisi nemon hu. Moshe Rabbeinu was a nemon. That means that he never wavered from that which HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him to do. He's reliable. Emunah that we have is not born out of an idea of just belief. It's born out of a consistency in life, in understanding that we have certain things to go through to get to where we have to go. I heard once from a great Talmud Chacham in Yerushalayim an unbelievable idea about Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva said, "I've been rehearsing this for my whole life." Quite a morbid life he left. A person is a soldier. He goes to basic training. After basic training, he goes into more intensive training for the field that he is supposed to be in combat. The purpose of all of those trainings is for when the shot emet comes, he should be able to respond naturally, not having to take the time to think. Rabbi Akiva understood that we have an obligation to be moser nefesh to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He wasn't waiting to die al Kiddush Hashem, but he drilled himself. What would I do if I was faced with that situation, to the point that when it happened, he was able to do it as his mind was already well acquainted with the situation, well rehearsed in his mind, to do it in a flawless fashion. He lived a life believing that the worst could happen and was totally happy. Because that which we see as the worst that could happen is actually no different than the best that could happen. Because it's the Ratzon of Hashem. That's hard. That's difficult. A person finds himself in a place of Choseh Onim. He doesn't have any utensils, any props to help him to get where he has to go. And he should be calm and collected. Somebody told me, I was on the road Friday afternoon, the person was a tzaddik, their car broke down. And he said, the Gemara says, Kasoi, Kisoi, Ubakoisoi, trying different kinds of situations can tell you about the person. And the person was totally calm. So why are you so calm? He said, I did my ishtadlus. I'm in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hands. I have nothing more to do. How many of us are able to be so clear-headed at the Shat Emet? Today, Tisha B'Av, we talk about all kinds of people, from the most ordinary, seemingly people, to the greatest of the great, that the ideals that we call the basics of our religion became part of their fiber to the point that they were able to execute those ideas flawlessly without giving thought to all the calculations which normal life would demand of them. This is the avodah of Tisha B'Av. A day that there's nothing to do, just to think about what we're really supposed to do. There's a mashal given by one of the mashkichim of the last generation. The king is reviewing the troops, goes from the generals, the captains, corporals, lieutenants, and he goes to the privates, and as he scans them, one of them screams out, Yechi Adoni HaMelech. You think the king cares? Every single day. The Birchas Kriya Shema. We speak about the Malachim, the greats, the beings of Kedusha that live in the higher spheres. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu reviews them and listens to their shira. But what's the most important to him is that we say Yechi Adoni HaMelech, we say Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. We can affirm, as so to speak, the smallest of the spiritual field, though the most important, our allegiance to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the point that the Malachim do not have Rishus to say Shira until we say Shira ourselves. What is the Shira that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to hear from us? Rav Hutner, in his cynical, sarcastic way, when he would ask somebody, how are you doing? And the person would say, Baruch Hashem. He said, it's very nice to know that you're religious. Now, how are you doing? I'd just like to add, nowadays, that's interesting, because most people, when they ask, how are you doing, they don't even mean it. So whatever the person answers is good enough, just so we can carry on with the conversation. We go to see a person who is sick in the hospital, on the verge of death, And we say, how are you doing? And he says, Baruch Hashem. Now that's something unbelievable. The same Rav Hutner, when his health was failing him, and he was barely able to eat, and the person who was attending to him said, would you like a little leaven? And he said, halavai lev. Halavai, we should be able to continue to live. Person has a Ratzon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in front of him. In the good times and in the bad times. I would like to share with you a piece of Musar which I got from a physician in this country. I have nothing to say but to repeat his words to you, and possibly we all together should move that much closer to Shema Yisrael. This doctor treats patients which have machlos which are pekuach nefesh, sakonis nefoshes, and this surgeon is sought out as from the best in his field. And when he's successful, and he tells the people, I was able to achieve what I was looking to do in my operation, and Baruch Hashem, I got it all out. And people say, Baruch Hashem, you were zeicher to be a great shliach. And the man told me, he says, I understand that. But what I don't understand, I'm human, and sometimes I could make a mistake, and I mess up. And those same people who just yesteryear recognized me as a shliach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu want to sue. Why don't they sue Hashem? If I'm a shliach of Hashem, why don't they want to sue Hashem? And he said to me, it seems that those people are lacking emunah and betochen. I tried my best. I wasn't negligent. As I say, where I come from, take it like a man. Sometimes the HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I will not help you. Why are you looking to blame the physician? Maybe you didn't daven hard enough. Where's the Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad? When it really hurts, do we do that? I think the lesson of Rabbi Akiva to see the schok in our lives. My grandmother, Ahavas Shalom, when her health was failing and she was in the hospital, and the doctors looked at her charts and saw the dire state that she was in. The doctor said, Mrs. Friedman, I'm sorry to tell you, you're not doing so well. And my grandmother, Ahavas Shalom's sharp wit, she said to the doctor, you look way too serious. Life is only temporary. This is emunah of emunas chabalelos. Where do you think Rabbi Akiva is? Rabbi Akiva is in Shemayim. He's in a far better place than he was when he was here. If you believe the whole picture, you believe even though you can't see it, just like that person in the dark, that what's being done right now is for your benefit. We have to believe that the Golus is here for our benefit. Someone spoke this morning by the Kinnis and bemoaned the fact that the energy that's in the year Tov Shenai and Ches, is not about excitement for Ruchnius. We're in Golus. And in the times of the Beis HaMikdash, the energy that was in the air was for Ruchnius growth. There's an adage. Youth is wasted on the young. A family member of mine says, though that's true, age is wasted on the old. Every age group has its positive side and its negative side. Do you think you get the same schar when you come to davening, when there's 10,000 people on that bus going to Yerushalayim to see the Kruvim? Or as in a small shtetl, they have to stand outside and call in a center. Yes, we live in a time of emunas chabalelos, but at the same time that it's emunas chabalelos, we get double, triple, quadruple schar for the energies which we seem to think are futile when we invest in Ruchnius. Tisha B'Av comes, Tisha B'Av goes, and we move on, going back to the regular life that we had. If we take with us on this Tisha B'Av the idea that even though it seems so dark and we're going nowhere, and we know that we don't know what's going on, yet we serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu and are thankful for that opportunity, we may have a small piece of Rabbi Akiva. The Midas Hadin, stark Midas Hadin, tells us that there is an afterworld because we believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu was a maker. So whether we have the good the way we like it, the way we imagine it, or through the troubled lives that we have to exist, we are close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And I believe as we move further and further away from the Zman of the Tanoim, Amoraim, Rishonim, Achronim, and our life is not even Erev, it's truly Choshech. All you need is one small spark that we spoke about this morning, to ignite and bandish all of that darkness that we should have, the Mirza Hashem, the focus and understanding that with all the troubles that we have, we say Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. The yichud that we say today, by spending our day steeped in the emotions of feeling our loss, can push away the darkness of the Golus and bring the ultimate Gula.